I'm Larry Menti. Welcome to Another Thing. What a year we just had. The rise of ISIS, the rise of Trump, terrorist attacks in Paris and San Bernardino, and The Force Awakens. What's in store for 2016? In a moment, we'll delve into the trends, the science, the technology, and the politics that lies ahead in 2016. But let's kick off our look ahead with Another Thing's Iannacone. Ellen.
Thank you, Larry. Well, 2016 certainly came in with a bang, and just about everyone has an opinion on just about everything. But the #1 topic for predictions, the 2016 presidential election.
I'm thinking it's going to be Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders. Yeah, why not? It's like the angry old white men fighting each other. It's like I have a triplet. I'd love both of them. Either of them would shake up the system.
Stu Bykofsky has worked at the Philadelphia Daily News for more than 40 years, and he has seen it all. He won't be shocked if Hillary Clinton doesn't get the nomination, just like 8 years ago when a one-term senator from Chicago came out of nowhere. But if Hillary does run, he predicts she will beat Donald Trump.
There aren't enough crazy people in the country to elect. I mean, Trump, I'll tell you something, it would be exciting to watch him as president. I mean, it'd be like just really rolling a hand grenade into everything.
As for local politics, some predict New Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney will face a rocky road in his first year, but Stu predicts smooth sailing.
I don't think he's going to be a transformational mayor. I don't think the city will be transformed. I think it'll just chug along, hopefully still moving in a positive direction.
And speaking of a positive direction, Bykofsky and his colleagues predict more peace in politics and everyday life. Or so they hope.
I don't know if it's a prediction or more of a cross-fingered hope, but I hope that we are more civil to each other in 2016. Here at the paper, we write stories, and underneath the stories are all kinds of comments. And the lack of civility and reasonableness is just appalling.
And as for entertainment, many predict Spotlight will walk away with Best Picture at the Oscars, and Leonardo DiCaprio will finally win Best Actor for The Revenant.
And here's one more fun prediction. The Philadelphia Inquirer says there are 100 new restaurant projects in the works in this city, and they predict 80% will eventually open and most will stay open. That means a lot of new choices for foodies. Reporting for Another Thing, I'm Iannacone.
All right, thanks, Ellen. We're going to look more into 2016 to find out what trends are ahead, especially when it comes to science, technology, and when it comes to lifestyles and entertainment. Here to talk more about that is Iannacone, who is the president of the New Jersey Academy of Science, and Ken Schlager, who is the editor of New Jersey Monthly. Let's start with you, if we could, sir. And as we look ahead, let's start with entertainment, shall we? Who locally is going to be, whose star is rising going into 2016?
Okay, great. Well, the Grammy Awards are coming up in February, and one of the names that could really emerge this year at the Grammy Awards is a kid named Charlie Puth. He's 24 years old. He's from Rumson. He's a musical prodigy. Went to Berklee College. Really, talented guy, singer, songwriter, pianist. Had a big hit last year. Called See You Again, which he co-wrote with Wiz Khalifa. He kind of does the ballad side of it, and Wiz Khalifa does the rap side. It was for the soundtrack of the latest Fast and Furious movie. He's got 3 Grammy nominations, first time out. And he's the kind of guy that the Grammys love. He's got all this natural talent. He can actually sing. And, they haven't announced who the performers will be yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see him perform there. And he's got 3 nominations, so he could come away as a winner.
Oh, that's wonderful. Anybody else?
Well, let's see. On the acting side, there's a guy named Michael B. Jordan that people have probably heard of now because he was a star as in the latest Rocky movie with Sylvester Stallone, Creed, and he played Adonis Johnson, the son of Apollo Creed, and I think he made a big impression in that movie. He made a big impression a couple years ago as the star of Fruitvale Station, which was his first big breakthrough movie. But he's actually been around. He's 28 now. He's been on TV since he was like 12 years old. He was in The Cosby Show.
It's funny, they call them an overnight success, and it's usually when they have their first blockbuster. And Creed was certainly a blockbuster. Where's he from?
He's from Newark. Yeah, he actually grew up, he was born in California, but he grew up in Newark, and he looks like he's going to be a big star.
We'll come back
especially when he's got his shirt off.
We'll come back and talk about lifestyles in a second. How about with science? What are we looking for?
It just depends on where you're looking. I think a lot of people are interested in what NASA's been doing these days. They've got some big projects coming up. There's another lander that's going to land on Mars called InSight that's set to land in September 28th. And they're going to be exploring more of Mars. Curiosity rover is still going on Mars, and that is on the northwestern slopes of Mount Sharp, where it's just checking out some sand dunes. They've got a couple of other orbiters that are still going. The orbiter Juno is set to hit, or I should say, enter orbit around Jupiter on July 4th. So that orbiter is going to be collecting data about the inside of the planet, the magnetosphere, and the gravitational sphere of the planet to try and understand the parts of it that we can't see beneath all the gas and see if we can figure out the planet core and the formation of that planet.
Let's come back down to Earth and talk about lifestyles and trends. What are we looking at? Let's say with restaurants or food.
Right. Coming up in February, New Jersey Monthly has our Best New Restaurants issue, and we talked about some of the trends that we've been seeing. Give you some examples. Grass-fed beef is turning up on a lot of menus at fine restaurants and steak specialty places, as well as kind of burger specialty places. It's leaner, it's tastier, and so you're going to see that a lot. Interesting thing that we see on some new menus now is bread and butter that you actually pay for. Could you get used to that? Yeah, but you know what? There's a wonderful rustic Italian place in Jersey City, relatively new restaurant, great little place called Raza, and one of their appetizers is called bread and butter. It's $4, but it's delicious, crusty bread.
So the bread has to be a lot better.
Yeah, it has to be a lot better. They churn their own butter. It's this wonderful, creamy butter. So, and people order it. $4 for bread and butter. Yeah.
I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit because you're here. You're really a science guy, and I asked you if we could talk a little bit about technology. So I just want to talk about robotics for one moment, if you feel good about that. Robotics play a big part in the smart cars, right? Or in the driverless cars. They really are kind of robots.
They're not what people think of as robots, but they have a lot of the machinery that you would find in a robot, actuators and servos to control the steering mechanism.
Are we seeing them this year?
No. And I haven't read up on as much as I would like to. They're close. They're going to happen. We're going to see a lot of driverless cars on the roads. I don't think it's on tap for 2016, in part because they're still working out some of the technology, and in part, I think governments aren't ready. And so even if the cars are ready in 2016, state and federal governments are going to say, oh, wait, we still have a lot to figure out. Just simple things in terms of accident liability. So if your smart car gets in an accident, but you were behind the wheel, who do you sue, right? Is it the maker of the smart car, the person that wrote the code that programmed the smart car, or is it you because you were behind the wheel?
Oh, my brother is a CEO of an insurance company, and this is a huge deal. This is all they're talking about is how to insure these cars. One last thing, we'll go back into your roundhouse. One next thing to look for in science, aside from the exploration in space.
I would say look to the physics community for possible information on the existence of dark matter. They're making improvements to a dark matter detector in South Dakota, and they are hoping to be able to detect what they are calling weak interactive massive particles, otherwise known as WIMPs.
Okay, now I ask you to come back down to Earth again, and to my level. Why is that important?
As far as I can tell, it's not. But
it'll just be cool?
But that's theoretical physics. It's a big, sexy experiment that doesn't really affect your day-to-day life.
One last thing to look for in either trends or entertainment in 2016.
Craft beer continues to grow, really booming. A lot of local beers happening. And turning up in restaurants. Restaurants now have these long lists of beers. They used to just have long wine lists. Now they have long lists of beers. Around New Jersey, which is what we know, we've got craft beer brewers opening up on a monthly basis. And it's good stuff. And it's really good stuff, and people are looking for it, and people are really developing kind of a taste for different types of beers and a knowledge about beer.
And apparently much more important than dark matter.
Yeah, well,
as we just found out.
Yeah, and there's
And
no
tastier.
wimps. And no wimps. No wimps. But it would be nice if you had somebody to drive you, a car that would drive you home. That's not bad.
When is, just so we can get a plug in for it, when is the Best of New Jersey monthly coming out?
The Best New Restaurants is the February issue, so that'll be out by the end of January. Would be on the newsstands last week of January.
Perfect. You can look for that. All right, Iannacone is the president of the New Jersey Academy of Science. Thank you so much. And Ken Schlager is the editor of New Jersey Monthly. Look for the Best Restaurants issue hitting the stands very soon. When we come back, political predictions for 2016.